Yo, what is going on, guys? It is your boy Pup, coach of the Las Vegas Rose Raiders, and today we have week 2 of the PSL season 6. If you guys did not check out week 1, I would highly recommend you do so. The battle's only a couple minutes long, so if that gives you an idea, then I mean, you know what happens. But if you guys want to skip ahead of this team builder, there should be a timestamp, but I guess we'll just go right over it. We're facing Lux and the Kansas City Charizards today, and we beat them. I think we beat them like pretty decently in the playoffs last season. I think they were our first round opponent, and yeah, so we did pretty well. They have a little bit of a different team this time. I don't really remember exactly what they had, but a couple of the threats stick out still. But I'm pretty excited because we're bringing 2 of our low tiers off the bench. I mean, it's only week 2, but I'm really excited to use both Poliwrath and Emboar this week. But without further ado, I'll put them on the screen right now. Lux has the Volcanion, OGERPON, Empoleon, Bisharp, Mimikyu, the Inteleon, Drapion, Piloswine, Goodra, Smeargle, and the Zangoose. My team's also up there as well. Just a reminder, anyone in the yellowish can tear it into non-stab, and then in the purple can tear it into stab. So, I mean, looking at their team, they got a couple big threats. I am scared of like a Smeargle lead with you know, setting up webs and sporing my Pokemon and, you know, all those hazards. It's pretty annoying. I do have a couple spinners, but it's just like a lot. So I'm gonna have to find a way to deal with that. Mimikyu is a huge threat just because of its disguise, and it has a pretty good speed tier versus me as well. I was speeding all but 4 of my Pokemon, and that's also like Minior can only outspeed it once its shell has been broken. Volcanion's also really good. We have a couple Pokemon that at the top that are pretty like effective against it, but it's still pretty decent to us. But overall, we have a nice matchup, I feel. So we're gonna start off with the Poliwrath here. We're rocking Leftovers with Water Absorb, Drain Punch, Bulk Up, Encore, Liquidation. This is our Palafin, pretty much. If you've watched me in the GWA, which I would highly recommend, just posted finals, so I would highly recommend you watch that. But this is like a very similar set that we've brought on Palafin, except for Liquidation over Jet Punch. And then on this thing, we can actually Tera instead of having all the great stats. So we're gonna run Tera Fire, and that'll make sure we can resist any hit that OGERPON wants to go for. At least to resist like the first one. We can also make sure we resist like play roughs from Mimikyu, which is really nice. And the most important thing is that we pretty much wall Volcanion. They could run Earthquake. I guess Earthquake Volcanion does look pretty decent into my team. But we'll at least like be able to absorb all the water moves. If they hit any fire moves into me, we'll be able to eat those up as well. Yeah, they can't really do too much. But we have some speed investment on this thing just because I want to be able to outrun a couple of their mons on their team. I'm hitting 197, so it's gonna hit a Goodra that is no speed invested, and then everything under that, which is really nice. Means that we can encore stuff, like if we lead this into the Smeargle and we just encore them into like sticky webs or something, we can bulk up in their face and you know, do a lot of damage into their team. And with max special defense and those bulk up raises, we're not going to die anytime soon and do a lot of damage. Next up, we've got the Tapu Koko. Reminder, no Electric Surge, but we're rocking heavy duty boots just in case some of those hazards do go up, even though we have some removal on the team. We have enough speed to outrun everything on their team. No Scarfers or anything, but we go all the way up to the Inteleon. So we have Grass Knot, Thunderbolt, Roost, Dazzling Gleam, and that hits everything. Grass Knot for Piloswine, of course. Thunderbolt is really good stab versus their team, and then Dazzling Gleam is there for stuff like the Goodra. It also hits the OGERPON that we don't really hit with anything else. And then this thing can actually live a decent bit. It's got decent defenses, and their team isn't like super offensive, like gonna one-shot every single one of my Pokemon. So I feel like I can even take some hits from Goodra, Roost up, you know, just play a long game with Tapu Koko, and I feel like it's gonna be really nice to have out for a while. We've also got the Iron Boulder in the back here with a booster energy into speed set, just so we can outrun any like Scarfers that can also go like a Trailblaze OGERPON could be annoying. But we're outrunning even Scarf and Inteleon if they end up bringing that. And then we should outspeed it in the with a sticky web as well. Actually, I'm not exactly sure how booster energy with sticky web works. But no matter what, we're rocking Substitute, Close Combat, Mighty Cleave, Sword Stance. Thought about running Earthquake on the set, but with Close Combat and Mighty Cleave, we actually hit everything. I don't think there's a mon on their team that we don't hit for neutral or super effective, but most of them are super effective. A lot of the big ones at least. So we just like set up a Sword Stance, maybe just set up a Substitute, and we click buttons against them, and it does a lot of damage. So definitely ready to do a lot with Iron Boulder hopefully this week, and if we're able to get the Sword Stance up, we can probably just sweep their entire team. I've also got the Fortress here with leftovers, Sturdy, Toxic, Body Press, and Volt Switch Spikes. So no Rapid Spin on this set, just because I'm hoping to be able to take care of Smeargle. If not, I mean, hazards aren't the biggest deal, especially because I do have the heavy duty boots, and I have one more mon that should be able to deal with Smeargle. But we have Tera Flying on this thing just in case they want to click a ground type move. It's also just like decent into their team. Like, we're still resisting most hits from OGERPON, including a superpower that they might go for. And I just wanted to be a little bit more careful with this thing. I'm probably not going to Tera it ever, but it's there just in case. But with max defense, we can eat stuff like any hit from the Bisharp, from the Drapion. We can eat hits from Piloswine. We can eat a lot of hits from Mimikyu as well. And this thing can just like Toxic through their team. It can Volt Switch around, it can Body Press, and it can set up spikes, which are really annoying for them to take care of. I've also got the Terap Ghost, and this is my Rapid Spinner with a heavy duty boots so I don't break my Tera Shell. And then Rapid Spin, Toxic, Roar, and Tera Starstorm. So I can always Roar out if they're setting up with like OGERPON or with Mimikyu. I can spin away any sort of hazards. I can Toxic any of their setup sweepers. And Tera Starstorm is just decent damage. I hit everything except for the Bisharp, the Empoleon, and the Mimikyu. But Mimikyu gets Toxic. The other two aren't really huge threats. If they want to set up with Bisharp, it's just a Roar angle anyways. Or just max Spadef on this thing. So we also eat anything from like the Goodra and can Toxic that thing. We eat from Inteleon, which is honestly the biggest part. And then we also eat from Volcanion. And the last up is a pretty heat set that I'm cooking up. So this is a lead Emboar with Expert Belt. We're rocking Blaze and Terra Grass. So if I lead this thing, well, if I see Smeargle, I lead this thing. And I click Terra Grass turn 1 for the Spore. And I just bulk up in their face. To get +1 attack, +1 defense, I Flame Charge, and then I'm faster than their entire team with this set, which is really fun. And then I just destroy them. +1, even with just like Flame Charge, does a lot of damage, but I also have Earthquake and Close Combat that absolutely decimates their team. And, you know, after I Terra Grass, there's not really too much they can do besides either waste their own Tera on it or lose a bunch of Pokemon. So I thought this would be super fun. And it's just a really good counter to that Smeargle, because I feel like it has a really good matchup setting webs against my team. But that's about it. If you guys do enjoy, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the battle. All right, we're here against Lux, and I see no Smeargle, which is fine. I do see they have a couple potential Tera captains, as that Zangoose can Tera into anything. They also have Piloswine and then Inteleon. So my Emboar, its set is not as good here, but it still puts in a lot of work. It actually does put in a ton of work versus their team. I can even Terra Grass to get around that Inteleon. So I kind of like it. I do like leading my Tapu Koko. Obviously a Piloswine lead is a little bit annoying. I could also just like go straight up Poliwrath or even Iron Boulder. But I feel like the safest option is probably just to go Fortress. So I'm going to do that. They lead Volcanion, so a good lead on their part. And I can either Volt Switch out and, start like bulking up with one of these Mons, or I can just Toxic or set up a Spike. They might predict me to switch out. I'm sturdy. I'm fine giving this guy up. And then I can just go Iron Boulder instead of a sub. Or I can just go Poliwrath. Let me Volt. Yeah, I mean, they could... I don't know. They could do a lot of different things. They could predict me to switch here, which they might. They just Flamethrower. That's fine. And we're going to Volt out. I wish I had Custap on this thing. Ah, but we do see Assault Vest. Assault Vest to take 12. Max HP, for sure. Even some Spadef, honestly. They're not even, like, max special attack. But even, like, max HP, Mighty Cleave is doing a lot. We could also go Poliwrath. Yeah, I mean, they don't do very much to Poliwrath. And they can't Toxic us. So I'm going to go out to this thing. Alright. Let's see if you're going to be actually useful. I'm just going to go for Bulk Up here. He might switch. Going into OGERPON could be fine for him. But I'm just going to Bulk Up. You know, get really thick. They do have, like, Earth Power. Their set's probably, like, Steam Eruption, Flamethrower, Earth Power, Sludge Wave, Sludge Bomb. And that hits my team pretty well. So I gotta be worried about that thing. But I beat it 1v1. I'm, like, pretty sure. As they do go OGERPON here. Alright. We're into OGERPON. Ivy Cudgel does not take me out. Drain Punch does a lot to them. And I get a lot of HP back. So I think I just go for that. I could also Encore them to see what they're going to go for. Like if they try to set up Swords Dance. I'm going to go for it as they Ivy. So now we Encored them into Ivy. I'm just going to sack off the Fortress now. Yeah, we sack off Fortress and we go Emboar. All right. And we get a free turn here. We can either get a free Flame Charge or a free Bulk Up. We still have my Tera, so I can Flame Charge. If I Flame Charge, I'm going to be faster than Teleon. And a close combat does one-shot Inteleon. Let me just Flame Charge here. They're going to go out to Mimikyu, so we're going to waste their Disguise. Awesome. I love to see that. I'm going to be faster than that thing unless it is Scarfed. If I'm +1, I'm probably killing them. And then Play Rough into Shadow Sneak. After a Bulk Up, I don't think takes me out. I also could Tera Grass. No, it doesn't. That doesn't really matter. Yeah, +1, it's going to be so close to knocking them out. But I don't think that it will with an Earthquake. I could save this thing. Give them like Terapagos. I might as well pull the trigger here is what I'm thinking. I'm just going to Bulk Up in their face. And then click Earthquake the next turn. Alright, let's see. They Shadow Claw. So it does a 0. They're Life Orb, so now Earthquake is knocking them out. I'm +1. I might be able to sweep their entire team, to be completely honest. We do take them out. Down goes Mimikyu. We're +1 speed, +1 attack, +1 defense. Which is awesome. Piloswine dies to CC. So does Inteleon. OGERPON dies. The Volcanion dies and Zangoose dies. They have to waste a Tera here or have like something crazy. They could have like a Focus Sash in the back. I could see it. I feel like the Encore was pretty nice to just get a free switch into Emboar. I mean, Encore into Sack into free Flame Charge. And I'm glad that they didn't even, do too much. They go Inteleon, so unless this thing is like Tera Ghost or Choice Scarf, then we're fine. I'm gonna close combat. Ugh, I could Tera Grass. Let's see. A normal like set. If they're Choice Scarf. If they're Choice Scarf set and they click Hydro Pump and I Tera Grass, I'm always living. So I'm going to Terra Grass, just in case they end up being Scarfed. They're not, but they're Sash. Okay, that works out, though. I think we should live this. No, they Air Slash. Are you kidding? Air Slash is crazy. Ah, that's really unfortunate. There goes my win con. But we can go Tapu Koko here. And Dazzling Gleam is pretty free. I could Grass Knot, but I'm not sure if I want to waste that. They might save this for a sack, though. I don't know. Let's just D-Gleam. Just in case they, like, sack this thing. Yeah, Focus Sash was nice. I wonder, like... my Emboar and -1 special defense versus that Air Slash. If I wasn't -1, it was a roll to kill me from Timid, which sucks. They do go Ogerpon. We get a nice Ivy. I mean, we get a nice Dazzling Gleam off on them, and we don't die to an Ivy Cudgel. And they could be Trailblaze. They definitely could, but we still have Booster in the back. So I'm just gonna D-Gleam again. They are Scarf and they crit me. All right, they just get a stupid little crit, which is super frustrating. Choice Scarf. There's no way it knocks me out without the crit. And we don't even have like setup opportunity versus them. So I'm just gonna Tear Starstorm. They should probably just sack Inteleon. They go Pylo. We do 38, so they're like physically defensive. They're not special. At this point, I just have to win with Iron Boulder, which doesn't even kill Volcanion in one. I'm just gonna Tear Starstorm again as they break my shell. It doesn't do too much. And then I could Rapid Spin to like be fast, but I'm just gonna Tear Starstorm. There goes my shell. Now Ogerpon versus me doesn't knock me out. I'm in a really bad spot here though. I don't think Poliwrath does very much, except for maybe eat a hit from Volcanion. Yeah, it should eat a hit from Volcanion, which is nice. And if I get it locked into something like Flamethrower, then I could set up a sub. This thing is scaring me. I'm just gonna hit it. They Terra Fight. Terra Fight CC does take me out. And they're badly poisoned, so they have the Toxic boost. Yeah, I think we just get swept by this thing. Actually, Close Combat should take it out from Boulder. Alright, I'm gonna go into Boulder, get my booster speed, and then Close Combat this thing. It's a roll. We do get it. It was very much in my favor. And then they go Volcanion. It does eat. But if it throws off a water move, then I eat it up. If they Earth Power, it could be a bad play. I will go Poliwrath though. It's my win con. If they Earth Power, it's a great play. Ah, man. I could also just crit. If we had just a little bit more chip on this thing, then I would win. I'm gonna go Poliwrath. As they go back out into Inteleon. Yeah. Alright. I'm gonna click Drain Punch, they Air Slash me. We live somehow and flinch. Alright, that's just about how it's been, you know? I wish I could have encored them into that. Now, if they're like Choice Specs or something, well, Let's see, versus Inteleon, the Air Slash is just timid damage. I think I have to bank on them missing a Hydro here. And I go for sub. They're just Scald, so nothing I can do really. Man, the unfortunate stuff happened there. Yeah, whatever. It's a good game. The crit on OGERPON mattered a lot. The crit from them really did matter. But, I mean, well played by them. It sucks to lose on that. Because that Ivy Cudgel wouldn't have killed me earlier. I mean, just looking back at this, like, Tapu Koko would have survived at full. I would have known that they're Choice Scarf, and I'm able to sack off my my Poliwrath, and I have a lot of other options to work around, so it's really unfortunate. So, yeah, we drop a game, and hopefully we can come back from there, but good game to our opponent. That's about it for me. If you guys enjoyed, please be sure to leave a like and sub, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.